Good afternoon and welcome to Voice of Liberia, news from the nation's capital, Monrovia. I'm Famata Duncan with the news. In the headlines, ECOWAS Commission calls on member states to prioritize the organization's interests. National Democratic Institute and International Women's Media Foundation to conduct training on gender equity. Liberia to host 23rd annual CCAF Fisheries meeting, and Tumete launches scholarship opportunities for kids in the country. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. The 90th Ordinary Session of the Council of Ministers and the Economic Community of West African States has ended in Guinea-Bissau court for member states to seek the institution's interest. In his statement during the ceremony, Dr. Omar Aliyu Toure, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, highlighted that the 2023 interim report on the state of the community will provide a holistic assessment of the achievements, challenges, and opportunities of the management as they work towards the realization of the regional integration agenda. He urged council members to carefully analyze the memorandum and report that will be presented to the meeting. The ministers were meeting ahead of the 63rd Ordinary Session of the Authority of ECOWAS Heads of States and Government currently ongoing.
Key meetings such as Administration and Finance Committee meeting of the Audit Committee, and the meeting of ministers in charge of various sectors. These reports will shed light on the progress made in implementing our community program and budget, ensuring transparency and accountability within our institutions. In our continuous pursuit of excellence, we will also deliberate on the significant matters such as the establishment of the Permanent Representatives Committee as a technical advisory organ of the Council of Ministers. Moreover, the endorsement of the regional action plans, joint trade and industry meetings, as well as sectoral reports will demonstrate our unwavering dedication to enhancing economic growth, social development, and regional cooperation within the ECOWAS space. Honourable Ministers, I encourage you to give due consideration to all the items on the agenda, as each topic plays a pivotal role in shaping the future of our community.
The National Democratic Institute and the International Women's Media Foundation will shortly commence the implementation of a new program to engage male political, media, and civil society leaders as transformative agents of change for gender equity. The training, which will bring together media practitioners, civil society actors, among others, is geared towards changing the patriarchal gender norms that are held by political leaders and underpin political institutions. The program is part of a large program that aims to bring women to politics and women in media to form a coalition to address and combat violence against women in politics and media. The initiative's efforts to promote gender equality in politics and media will work to ensure that the program focuses on the two institutions' global agenda. Group of the young people residing in Jalatown, Mosurado County, District 8, have concluded a day-long peace dialogue ahead of the 2023 elections. The one-day event honored the theme Let's Talk Peace Forum was organized by the Catholic Relief Services from the United States Agency for International Development. In a brief chat with reporters, CRS Project Assistant Victor Fan said the forum was geared towards educating young people about peace during and after the October 10 elections. According to Fan, the young people are mostly used during election periods to carry out violence, and as such, it is important to engage and educate them about the importance of maintaining the country's peace.
Okay, so to go into our program today, like he said, the Youth for Peace activity. The Youth for Peace activity is sponsored by the United States Agency for International Development, implemented by the Catholic Relief Services Liberia. The Youth for Peace activity is geared towards helping youth from disadvantaged backgrounds and conflict-affected communities to contribute to positive peace within their communities. What that we do is to engage the masses to making sure that peace reigns in everything that we do. So the Youth for Peace activity is a 36-month-old initiative that is 3 years, and it is in its second year. We work with motorcyclists, we work with the tricyclists, we work with the student body, we also work with community stakeholders locally and appointed elected officials, and we also work with hierarchies also of the government as well. So the center of it all, if you look at these two banners, there is a key word, and this is more direct to our positive peace. We are making sure to engage the masses before, during, and after our pending election. So particularly to the Youth for Peace, the Let's Talk Peace that we are here, it is a fledgling program that supports this Youth for Peace activity. It was launched in February. That was on February 3rd at the Center for the Exchange of Intellectual Opinion, that's CO on Kerry Street. Probably most of you might be aware. It is actually geared towards bringing in face-to-face key stakeholders, community leaders, the youth, the intellectuals. And I like to emphasize on the intellectuals because those are people with high intellect. We listen to the radio, we get to understand that.
Also speaking, Zach Shemmer, who is the youth president of Jalatown, thanked CRS for making it their duty to educate them. He stressed that hosting the Peace Forum with youth ahead of the October 10 polls is one way to address conflicts during the electoral period, while pledging his youth commitment to remain peaceful during the election.
For me, I'm grateful for the team to join us in preaching the message of peace. It's important that the issue of peace be spread through the land and birth of Liberia, and not just Liberia, but around our surroundings. Because mind you, if you think you are peaceful and your surrounding is not peaceful, that means to say you yourself is not at peace. And I will also like to continue by saying there are a few things we should consider here. And basically, peace is not about saying peace. It's about what you do. What you do is what they call peace. It's not just peace, peace, peace. So one of the major things we should consider is that if we just say peace, peace, but we are not peaceful in reality, we are just making fun of ourselves. And I think it's important that we take note of these things, which are very vital to our being and to our existence. And as community youth, it's important. And those of the organizations who have taken on this initiative of preaching the word peace, I want you to also consider something. Community engagement or search is very important. Because many times, the other time I was at the Corona Hotel where they had a peace program among young people, and I was fortunate to be a part. So I raised up, I said, look, most of the time, the issue of these things are only ranking or around the issue of NGO. You only see directors of another NGO, employees for another NGO. But what about those that are just sitting to their house or houses? Are you engaging them? And if you are engaging them, what message and how are you carrying the message? It's not about just probably being bookish, you want to speak book or whatever, but how can you integrate those words that will translate into the minds of the people so that they can understand the issue of peace? And that's something we want our people to consider. Continual community engagement is very important and will lead us all to achieving what we want.
Ahead of the October 10 presidential and legislative elections, Rivers says County District 2 independent aspirant Steve Tikwa has publicly declared his support for the re-election of President George Weah. He said, considering the many developmental initiatives undertaken by the Tilla administration, Liberians should ensure the administration is afforded a second term to complete its development agenda for the country. He promised to continue preaching a non-violence message during the campaign on grounds that violence cannot develop Liberia.
Well, I support President Weah as president, but I'm an independent candidate.
Contested as a senator in Riverside County, but then now you contested as a representative candidate. Why did you make that decision?
Well, I can serve in any capacity.
Okay.
I know it has to do with my, county, contributing my own quota to the development of our county. I just felt in my spirit this time around.
One may say because of being the less of Bill Traore in the race?
Well, I don't think so. Tikwa have been a non-violent person. I went in the elections 2020, and that election was a little bit controversial.
Okay.
And everybody saw clearly that I was peaceful. In fact, I was the only person, the only candidate that lost an elections and attended the certification program of his opponent that won the elections. Not only that, I was at Capitol building, and I even attended his own Thanksgiving program. So when it comes to preserving the peace and someone being peaceful, I think Tikwa, is checked 100%. We will do our work, but I don't see anyone, because I think in 2020 I contested against someone who was strong, someone that was really loved by the people, someone who was people-centered. And looking at these elections, I don't see anybody with that kind of characteristics that's going to pull, Tikwa off, the top of.
The leadership of the Press Union of Liberia is inviting all of its members to an emergency mass meeting on Wednesday, July 12, 2023. The meeting, according to a release, will discuss a single agenda item with focus on a contractor agreement the PL has with the private American media development entity Internews. Internews manages the USIT media activity in Liberia, a project the Press Union of Liberia made possible through its core application. It says the union's relations with USIT will also be high on the agenda. Meanwhile, the union is urging all of its members to assemble at the headquarters of the PL at 10 a.m. for the mass meeting. Conglomeration of citizens from southeastern Grand Jida County under the banner Jide for Weah have vowed to ensure the second-term bid of President George Weah. The decision was taken over the weekend at a jam-packed meeting with over 150 Grand Jidans in attendance. The head of the group, who doubles as Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister, Wilmetta Piso Sedita, said the group was funded basically to rally support for the re-election of President George Weah. She said citizens of Grand Jide County believed that the country has benefited so much from the CDC government, and as such it's important to retain the president.
But we are all Grandians who are for George Weah. Am I wrong? We want to ensure that the purpose of this group is that we even bring our own 96.4, we want to carry it to 99%. So that is our singular goal. Our singular goal is to ensure that within the president's own regime, as a sitting president, we have to break that record and make it move. So that is the singular reason why we decided to come together under one umbrella. We know there are issues, there will always be issues. By the end of the day, even if we have issues, so we'll still continue working on the issues, but we know we want to ensure that this president, this developmental president, this powerful legacy president, this president who thinks about this in the simplest way, what needs to happen is let it be done. How can we find a way for the woman? How can we find money for our market women to be able to take home? How can we make sure the roads in the southeast? How can we be sure that our children are able to take the west without having to have the parents worry? How can we be sure that when they take the west, they can pass the west? Taking it is about passing it. That we ensure that we re-elect him so that our lives will continue to be better, so that the opportunities for ourselves, our families will continue to be there, so that we are always in a place where we have somebody who has an open ear to the common man, the common woman. So that is the purpose of.
If you just join us, be reminded that you are listening to news from Voice of Liberia, and these are stories we are following on this news presentation. ECOWAS Commission called some member states to prioritize the organization's interests. National Democratic Institute and International Women's Media Foundation to conduct training on gender equity in the country. Liberia to host 23rd annual Sika Fisheries meeting, and Timothy Weir launches scholarship opportunities for kids in the country. Welcome back and thanks for being there. Former Minister of State for Presidential Affairs Nathaniel McGill, who was recently sanctioned by the U.S. Treasury Department for public corruption, is urging Liberians not to let the country descend into a runoff election. This statement came after his nomination by the ruling government as senatorial candidate of Margibi County. McGill used the platform to express his concerns. He emphasized that the government lacks the necessary funds to conduct an additional election. He believes that if the country can avoid a rerun election, it will be beneficiary to Liberia as a whole. He highlighted the financial strain that such an election will place on the government.
I am truly grateful to God for this opportunity. I want to say thank you to every one of you. It is because of you we are here today. Life is not easy. If you don't face challenge in life, you will never make it. It is going to be tough. But in the corner of time, God is going to reveal himself. And together we're going to succeed. 2023. You know, I hear more people saying, you know, we'll get three major parties. Three major political parties. I know the Kenyans are going to be more. But Liberia has to spend $65 million to conduct the election. $65 million to conduct the election. The country is struggling to find $65 million. If you put the country in second round, create a situation where the country has to go for second round, the second round will cost the country additional $40 million. We don't have that money. We're supposed to use that money to build and finish. If we have that kind of money, we should be using that money to build CH Running Hospital. We should be using that money to help people go to school, to pay their school fees. We should be using that money.
At the same time, he made a promise that if elected, he will prioritize student education. He plans to work closely with the government and citizenry to ensure that public schools in the county are free of all fees, as well as private schools fees reduced.
I want to promise the student here that a new Margibi we are trying to build is a Margibi to ensure that we get student priority. We want to make sure that you have opportunity. Education according to you as you say, the government will approach to provide my education for our citizens. So therefore, I'm making a promise to you, Margibi citizens, that education will be a national priority for Margibi. Now, public school students, I want to promise you, as part of my 100-day agenda, is to make sure that no public school student will ever pay school fees while they're going to school. I want to make it my agenda that all private schools, that government will continue to subsidize private schools so that our parents become private schools and become business, and the school fees are extremely high. I want to make sure that government will do all the best to make sure that private schools reduce their school fees so that our private schools will go to school.
Group of citizens believed to be aggrieved members of Defender Demolition are accusing the payment committee of foul play. Recently, President George Weah provided more than $1 million United States dollars to victims of fender demolition exercise. During the regime of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, thousands of Liberians were made homeless after the University of Liberia demolished their structures, accusing them of illegally occupying the university's property. However, upon his election in 2018, President George Weah appealed to the victims of the disaster, taking responsibility for the situation, promising that the government will pay for the property. Meanwhile, following the release of the initial 1 million, several individuals whose properties were demolished are accusing the committee set up to distribute the benefit of acts of corruption. Elias Johnson is the spokesperson of the aggrieved party.
Ela B. Johnson. I came here for defender demolition. The president came and promised all that really were going to help or to pay. And he has fulfilled his promising. And we are very happy for what he did. But the condition in which the people handed that payment over there are not satisfied. I'm talking on behalf of myself and other people who up to now, some of the people have not received a cent. I received $160 for my own area. And my son had 1 acre of land, received the same 160. We register each and every one that was having document, that is D, $50 US. And those that were spartan right, they register 500 Liberty. Now, we have been paying our transportation up and down, every time under the rain, under the sun. And we went there again, we have to pay some money again for ED. Each of your D, you pay $10, 10 US. Now, authority in Fena, they out of the money and we pay. When I received $160, I was surprised to me because the expenses that I run up and down, more than $160. I'm not talking only for myself. The thing, when I was there that day, when the public were paying, there were people that they couldn't find their name in the list. And that could, what it can be possible, that you could, somebody who register, you say that a name, you not get document. How can you give ID card to somebody when you don't have document in the record? So that's why surprised to me. Up to now, as I'm talking, there are so many people where they have not received a cent. Look at me, $160. If you change the $160, it's almost about 20 more thousand. I deem to reach to the radio station through FM to make sure that they should understand and to let the president know that the money that he paid, he have not been used for intended purposes. I want the president to intervene because it's not only to affect. When the people in Penda are not satisfied, many people will not vote for the president. The people who do it want to discourage the people not to vote for president. That's why I look at it. I want you people as a journalist to follow this and make sure that they come and pay, everything will be done properly. And what is the population? You're the journalist, you should know the population of the Penda, the people that register, the whole population that will register. And then how much, the 1 million that they pay, how.
At the same time, the lead advocate for the aggrieved property owners, John Colley, is appreciating the president for making good his promise.
That what the government and President Weah have done at Sandal, like we mentioned earlier in our releases, a show of goodwill is magnanimous, is something that most people would not have done if they were the ones, because they would have said they did not destroy Sandal at all. So they cannot pay. But he went there in 2019, I remember, with a dialogue forum and promised to meet the people halfway and beginning to live to that. I promise that magnanimity promise to the people of Fendal is something that needs to be commended. And that is why I'm beginning to commend him and to urge him to fully pay the rest of the amount so that the people can be restored to the dignity that was destroyed by those who did the bad action there, forcefully evicting them and demolishing their property. Well, there needs to be an effort, not just by me, but the people themselves, the committee that they set up to work with them when we began the advocacy. There needs to be an action of continuous push by them and by us to the government to stress the need for the full payment, which is what we are beginning to do. And to do that, this time it used to be push of agitation this time is to continue to, if you will, work with the government to try and get the government to pay them. And commending President Weah, the government is part of the push to try to encourage them to continue the goodwill until the whole amount is paid.
Ruling Coalition for Democratic Change defeated Mosuratu County District 14 representative aspirant, who doubles as the district's coordinator. Myers Blyton is calling for unity among citizens following his defeat to Muka Kamara. Blyton lost the party's primary recently to Kamara, something that has brought disenchantment among partisans loyal to him. Meanwhile, in the midst of the disenchantment, Blyton appealed for calm and urged fellow citizens to remain focused to ensure President George Weah is elected president during the October 10, 2023 presidential and legislative elections.
My distinguished fellow citizens, you just came from a very contented and bitter primary. And the result of the primary were announced. That cannot divide us. The reason why that will not divide and that cannot divide us is because we have one goal. We have one goal. Our goal is to make sure we leave this to October on October 2023 by making sure that the soul of the people, the soul of the men who have broken stones, the men who have stood against the time, the men who are the people claiming individual, the leader of our time, a countryman, a country talent, a power medicine, the man who said to his people, in the time of my life, I'm obliged to give my life for the redemption of my people. We will make sure without dividing ourselves because of common quest for power, without bringing confusion among ourselves because of the quest of power. We will emancipate our forces. We will break the storms. We will walk in the night and we'll walk in the day. We will walk under the sun and walk in the rain. We will put ourselves together. We will go into the slums and go into the loop of our communities. We will barricade the territory limits of our district to make sure come October 10, 2003 to elect His Excellency President George Weah for the second term. And for that, we will not divide ourselves. They say in time of peace, you prepare for war. That we are preparing for political battle. But there are some people that want to divide us. There are people that carry misconception and misinformation. I come to dispel, dismantle, rebuke those misconception, misinformation. Don't take it away. I come to disabuse the minds of people that have a different mind. Those that want to have either this way, they can succeed.
And the government of Liberia, through the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authority, will host the 23rd annual meeting of the Fisheries Committee for the Eastern Central Atlantic in Liberia. The International Fisheries meeting, under the theme Practical Solution to Strengthening Fisheries Management and Sustainability in Fisheries Committee for CCAF, is being organized by the Food and Agriculture Organization in collaboration with the government of Liberia. It will bring together key stakeholders from various countries in the Eastern Central Atlantic region to discuss and address important issues pertaining to fisheries management and stability. The meeting is scheduled to take place at Farmington Hotel in Margibi County from July 11 to 14, 2023, signifies the country's commitment to promoting and safeguarding the fisheries sector. 60 participants from 19 countries and 4 observers will participate, as the meeting will provide an invaluable platform for collaboration, knowledge sharing, and strategic planning among fisheries experts, policymakers, and other relevant stakeholders. On that note, that's how we come to an end of news on the Voice of Liberia. But before we leave you, here are stories we followed on this news presentation. ECOWAS Commission calls on member states to prioritize the organization's interests. National Democratic Institute and International Women's Media Foundation to conduct training on gender equity. Liberia to host 23rd annual CCAF Fisheries meeting, and Tomitiwea launches scholarship opportunities for kids in the country. For more news, log on to www.voiceofliberiaonline.com or follow us on Facebook with keywords Voice of Liberia. I'm Famata Duncan. Good afternoon.